Hey, y'all. Another Friday night. And guess what? It's time for AIL. We have who's sipping the tea? A lot of tea tonight. And we have the living room coming at you talking about transparency. We live, y'all. Come on, let's go.
I'm a filmmaker. I've worked in film, video, and television for over 30 years. I took a little break, but now I'm back.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Art Imitates Life with me, Tanya Dixon, here to give you the greatest and what seems to be a lot of gossipy type of news tonight on the tea. We have a lot of tea for you, so you got to stay tuned for that. And of course, we're going to have the living room tonight as we talk about transparency. We want to know, we want you all to chime in too. If transparency is it what is that makes the relationship successful? Is it what's necessary in a successful relationship? I can't wait to hear what's happening there. And you see, my birthday balloons are hanging on back there. I mean, they're hanging on by a thread, but they're hanging on because we still in Libra birthday month, and I'm not letting it go. I ain't letting it go. So for all the Libras out there, this is Libra season. Oh, my dog is coughing. He wants to be a part of this. You know, this is poppy season always poppy season. So let's get it kicked off with a sponsor. And we're going to be back to bring in, our folks for the tea. We got a smaller team tonight, but we still do it. You know how we do. All right, so y'all hang on tight.
Art Imitates Life with Tanya Dixon is being sponsored by Candyland Global, bringing your multimedia dreams to life.
Hey, welcome back. Our imitates life. I'm going to go ahead and bring in. We're still waiting for some of our other folks to show, but right this moment, y'all go ahead and unmute yourselves. Let me go ahead and bring you up in the house here. So I got Rick Monster and Veronica. Let me go ahead and unmute you, Veronica. Let me go. I got you. How you doing, y'all? How you doing?
It is what it is.
We
Friday.
in here.
Yeah.
We in here. And we don't need a whole lot of folks to say the stuff that we got to say. We just go talk and do what we do. Just do what we do. But you know me, I'm always getting set up. I'm going to shoot some social media out in a minute. So when y'all see me moving around, looking all kinds of places, that's because you look her over and I'm hitting Facebook, I'm hitting IG. I'm doing different things, letting people know, hey, we're
Hidden
on.
folks. Hidden folks.
I'm being good over here. I'm being good. So I want you all to tune in. Yes. And so, okay, Rick, you weren't here last week. We talked about the rewind, and that was part of your subject matter too.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and ask you real quick on the rewind. You just give us a real quick thing about if you were here, if you were to rewind
Right.
your life, you had a chance to turn back the clock. What would you do differently? And then we go forward from there.
Woo. What would
It's
I
got to be juicy.
Yes.
My goodness. What would I do? I would. Let's see. I would say, of course, taking consideration of a lot of things that was going on. I would have more than likely got myself more fine-tuned with my art,
Uh-huh.
get more exposed, and not be so quick to move to Dallas. Uh,
Really?
yeah, not be so quick to move to Dallas, but whoever you're going to meet, or not to take away from my love and what I have going on now with my family, because if you're going to meet, you're going to meet regardless. You're going to run to them regardless. But I would definitely take more focus into my art, really give myself a chance with the art. I actually pursued modeling as well.
Right.
That was the reason why I moved to Dallas with art and modeling.
Right.
Got to know myself more in my 20s. You know, give myself more time to really travel and find out. Not so much as just jump into college, but because I've done that when I went to the Art Institute of Dallas. You know, I figured out a lot of things about myself. I thought I wanted to be a game developer, but respectively, I just enjoy playing the games, playing the video games more so going into development, because I noticed like there was a lot of love lost when your passion becomes a job. I noticed that a lot. But with that, I would have just taken more chances with myself as far as meeting new people, traveling, put myself in better positions, getting learning different things that will put me in a place to be able to travel and not be so focused on where my heart was, because I was bounded by the heartbreak issue at that time, not being so quick, not be so impulsive, because I've learned that being so impulsive about certain things, you run into you can run into like a lot of dead ends or unnecessary crossroads. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that can play very, very heavy on your mind, especially if you're really not ready. If you're not ready for that because of the impulsiveness, it can really put you in a bad situation. It can really put you in a bad situation a lot. So yeah, that's fine. Fine.
Margo is here.
What do you want?
Hello, everybody.
Margo, go. But I must say,
hello, everyone.
Hey, but I wanted to say to Rick now, Rick, had you changed too much, then I would have never met you, because I met you when you were, a kid, 12, 13 years old, and came to work with my productions. And it can't change too much, because this whole story today might be a whole different thing had you changed too much of that story.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Even taking like the aspects and like the principles and the discipline in terms of not necessarily like, because I feel like it just wasn't about being a part of real life, the show itself, but being a part of real life with myself. Because I took some of those aspects, a lot of people that came to the panel, and I even took things that was uncomfortable, from working in the sound booth or even just behind the camera, Yeah, man. Yeah. There was like a lot of stuff that kind of, not bothered me, but kind of like maybe questioned where I want to go. I'm like 12, 13 years old. Like, okay, how are you going to move based on these people's experiences? Do I want to make the same move? Like, how can I remix it in my own way? As far as even running, meeting new people, meeting new friends, and actually carry some of those a lot of those aspects on, even from junior high school to high school to college, and just in real life in general. Yeah, I was gonna do it. I was gonna do
it. We were talking about that right before the show. That there has to be some type of a sound bite. That was me back in the day for my first production, and I screamed out, "Real life!" I didn't remember it, but Rick remembers.
If I had a mini tape recorder, man, my God.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you know what? I want to know how everybody's week was. I mean, well, Rick, you already talking. Tell me about your week real quick. Or did you say it just now before you went into the story? Because I'm over here doing a bunch of little stuff.
Not at all. Not yet. My week is actually was vainglorious.
Vainglorious. I like that word.
Yes, I dedicate that quote to X Clan. Vainglorious. But a lot of clients showing face, making that deposit, no question. And that excitement just got me on the platform myself. Like, hey, it's time to get
little dude is coughing. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Yeah. It's like because it's been like a plateau effect, with all this going on with low energy. It's kind of like breaking out of a sleep that's unwarranted. Getting sidetracked, staying dazed, and confused, so to speak. Like it's like you got to get that wake up. Like somebody got to like either offer you a cup of coffee, but sometimes you need it poured on your face from out the pot. Yeah, because
might not have no face no more after that, but anyway.
Hey, you smelling coffee beans in your pores for the next few months? Yeah, it's real. It's real life. It is. It's very real. Right. Got a plethora of new clients. So I'm just awaiting or creating the final products one by one. And they asked me once it's done, they'd rather take a picture of it once it's completed. So once it is, you'll see them behind me. You'll see them behind me.
Okay.
It's gonna be something. But got a high grade at the job. Positive feedback. Being appointed to a new position. It's been dope. It's been really, really dope. But
that's good. Really great to hear. Welcome back. Thanks, Rick. Welcome back. Also, Veronica was talking up a storm last week. So, Rock, how are you doing?
Who cares?
She got the delay a little bit tonight.
I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm feeling just like under the weather, but I'm doing
okay.
You got one more time. You got one more time to be under the weather.
I'm doing good.
Well, that's wonderful. Thanks for being here, Margo. Go. How you doing?
Wake me up before you go.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the song, but yeah, for the most part, okay. Just been kind of moving and shaking and adapting to whatever changes come my way. Trying to figure out, still kind of clueless. Tomorrow is my birthday. It's my birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday to you.
Figure out how to. Yeah, thank you. Trying to figure out how to enjoy it, but I'm needing prayers and stuff. I have a nephew that I'm kind of concerned about. He's going through a little health issue, and he's just young. It's not life threatening, but it's a big shift for his family with his health and things that.
Wow. Okay.
Just easing my mind sight right now. So that's what's going on.
All right. Prayers up.
But other than that, everything's been okay. Been trying. It's been a trying week.
Okay.
Thank y'all. But yeah, it's been a trying week, but been, like getting my fist ready and moving through it all.
I know that's right. It's sometimes it's just like that. Some weeks you just like, oh my goodness, and you're just ready to navigate through it and get to the other side. My week was a blur. Just had a lot going on. Still trying to bring together, but I don't like when things are blurred because I have a little bit of a nervousness because I know there's a lot going on. And so I'll talk to y'all on the after show about that. It's a lot happening. So had me a little bit nervous, but I got 2 interviews coming up next week. And so instead of just talking about both, at the end of the show, I'm going to show you one. I have a celebrity Chef Cat coming through. So y'all go ahead and just check out Chef Cat so that you can be here for the show next time. So that will be coming up on Wednesday. Wednesday will be live, 8 p.m. Chef Cat. And what I like is she has this bone cleaner barbecue sauce. And Warren G has been there. The Warren G and all of them, they love her sauce and everything. So we're going to talk about the whole night and everything. I can't wait to have her on because I think it's going to be a great interview. So shout out to Chef Cat, and we'll see you on Wednesday night.
That's a dope name. That's
it is. And so I can't wait to see her here. I can't wait to see her here. I know that's going to be fun. But y'all, I ain't going to talk too much more about myself. I'm going to go
into about all that.
But what's that? The bone cleaner. The bone cleaner barbecue sauce.
She might have told me about all that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to her about how can we get the bone cleaner barbecue sauce. We will talk about that. So shout out to Chef Cat again. We're going to talk about that barbecue sauce. Let's do it. Let's do this. All right. All right, y'all. It's time for us to who's back the tea. And once upon a time in life, I'm going to get this opening up for this who's back the tea. But I am that kind of an artist where if something is not inspiring me and I look out there and everything and it still doesn't come to me, I don't rush it. I don't rush it because I still have not grasped who spiked the tea yet. And then until I do, I'm just gonna say it. And then once I feel it, I will do the promo for who spiked the tea. Because I have too many times come to this computer and just sat and said, it was just not having an appeal to me yet. So you know what? Before I get into the stories of who spiked the tea, y'all go ahead and say hello in the chat. Get people revved up and start going, on the chat. So y'all just go ahead and say hello out there. And I am going to do something that I never do. I always forget the Twitch TV. We are airing over on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/The Real Tandy Girl. And I'm actually going to pull it up and put it in the chat right now. So you all just go ahead and put a few little words out there, and I will go ahead and put that link out there for the people to run over. Like people watch on YouTube and they watch us on Facebook, but run over there on Twitch, kind of like Pika's on Twitch. I'm waiting for this thing to go live because I know the sound usually comes in and it'll start repeating, and I want to mute the sound real quickly before it catches me. Okay. Can y'all hear repeating yet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I think my bandwidth is acting up.
Yeah, you're not pop locking.
I can already hear it. Let's see if I can get it. Let's. Yeah. Okay, I got it. I finally got it because I had to wait for everything to come up, and then I finally just muted it. But here I'm going to put it in the comments. Y'all go ahead and put something in the comments so that I can go ahead and put the Twitch TV in there too. Okay.
Ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Then I will go ahead and put it in there. I can do mine on StreamYard, and it hits all three. So
hits all three. I'm all of that.
Yeah. And tonight I'm crazy. I am drinking tropical passion fruit Moscato, but when I run out of that, I finally got some cupcakes. So let's just see what happens. So let's see what happens.
Hold on. Stand back. You want to see what happens?
You're crazy. Okay, let's run on over here to the stories. Now, I got stories. They're in no particular order. I am just grabbing them. I have things from the stuff that make you really sad to the stuff that make you scratch your head. So I think I'm going to start off with one that's making me scratch my head a little bit. This one And sometimes when I see things in this particular magazine, I'm going to first of all give the shout to Newsbreak for the article, but the actual article is in OK Magazine. And sometimes when things are in this other publication, you wonder if it's all the way true or not. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it is. Sharon Osbourne spills former The Talk co-host Underwood. She spills that her former The Talk co-host Cheryl Underwood was sent to anger management after staffers lodged complaints. So she says, well, they're saying Sharon Osbourne isn't holding back anything and discussing her nasty exit from The Talk. She departed CBS in March after an on-air squabble that she had with her co-host Cheryl Underwood. And so, yeah, they had a squabble.
Yeah, okay, so
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, because
I remember hearing about it.
we call squabble, that means you actually, but you're talking about a verbal squabble, right?
Oh yeah, this is just verbal squabble. There were no hands. There were no hands. Okay. Okay. What happened is the whole thing was surrounding the whole thing about Sharon Osbourne supporting Piers Morgan, his freedom of speech, after he doubted the claims made by Meghan Markle during her Prince Harry CBS tell-all thing that she did with Oprah Winfrey, right? And so Sharon said that she felt betrayed by the whole thing, and then would question how Osbourne was racist. Then it just became a huge snowball that just kept rolling. And they said after their heated exchange, I don't know how many people remember that exchange, CBS launched their investigation. I mean, they put the show on hiatus during that time. I remember that. And as everything got a lot worse, there was a lot of allegations that were lodged against Sharon's husband, Ozzy Osbourne. And then she called it quits for the show because I guess it was just more things in her life into the whole situation. And so she went ahead and just quit the show. So I'm like this. First of all, do you all remember that whole thing going down?
I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. But I mean, in terms of generally speaking,
right.
As far as experience, not an expert. But my thing is this: like, who determines that Cheryl needed to take anger management? Who determined that? Is it because she was getting at Mrs. Osbourne? Is that the only reason why? Because with that said, if that's the case,
let me tell you what I feel. Well, what I feel is, and if y'all have to forgive me because I see my band is kind of going up and down on the connection tonight. But whenever we know this to be true, whenever Black people, Black women voice their view, that angry thing comes in, and that's what my mind went immediately there. Is that it was an anger thing because we can't seem to voice ourselves without that coming to the table. Where's this little boy at? But so that's what I kind of wondered and I kind of thought about too, because as soon as I saw the caption, that's where my mind was drifted off to. I mean, does anybody agree or is it,
Well, I agree because they're so quick to label and say that's the only reason why we're speaking up, because we're angry and we're mad about whatever the situation is. And it goes back and plays into race all the time. It's like whatever happened to just the person made the wrong comment. It just was the wrong comment. And race was brought into it by what the within the comment, how it was perceived or how it was given. So it's not that just that because we're Black men and we're always just angry and can't never get it together. But I'm like, hey, the comment was made. Maybe they should have thought it out before they fully pushed it out there.
So. and at least preface it.
And so I don't like, I resent that. So that I see, you know, I resent that myself personally. I was actually looking at, this is an old episode of Wendy Williams, because we know a lot of her episodes are reruns right now because she allegedly is back in rehab. And so as I was looking at this one episode last week, it was about the Real Housewives of New York City, and there was, you know, a whole squabble, and there's one of the black ladies on there, her name's Ebony, and I believe that there was a whole thing about a comment that she made where she kind of insulted the white woman first, and then another one, Lou Ann, came in and said something about her being angry, but it's the fact that she chose that word. Why do you choose that word and you want to talk about being angry? Because that is the stereotype. And if you want to get your ass handed to you, you bring that stereotype. If you just want to say something about the situation, I get that, because everybody has a right to their opinion. But when you bring in that angry thing, you know you're bringing in that stereotype also. And that's when people are going to be really wanting to hand you your ass.
It's like when you put a stigma, you know, on a certain group of people. I mean, but you have to understand, if you've done your history, or even so much as look down the damn street, you just so much even look down the damn street if you're willing to put yourself in that on that street or give a damn about doing so. We even turn on the television. There's enough information out there for us to feel the way that we feel, and express the way we express, because at some point, there's only so long that you can shake up a can of soda, as I've said before, until it pops off, until it explodes. Yeah. So if you want to call that can of soda angry, but you keep shaking it, why are you so angry? Why are you so? I don't understand. Why are y'all so angry? We are here. We want to exist. We don't want to always be shook up. While you're calling us all these names, and then you wonder why. You are going to do the same thing if it was done to you over and over and over again. But, you know, they choose not to see it their way, or they choose to neglect, or even so much relate to how human behavior is. That's just what it is. It's a choice. They consistently make this choice, and that's why they consistently put these words on us. But it's like, no.
You want to make a difference?
What'd you say?
Right.
What'd you say, Veronica?
She's a bit of delay.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got
getting that. But it's like for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Like, what do you expect? You put eggs on a hot ass skillet. What do you think the egg is gonna do? Stay cold or stay yolk? Stay in the yolk?
Eventually gonna burn all the hell up. So.
You put me next to fire. You put me too close to fire, and I'm not gonna say ouch. Oh, he's sensitive. You put the fire on me. You keep putting the fire on me. Like, my skin is not gonna react like your skin does.
There's going to be a reaction.
Right? Every action deserves a reaction.
Come on.
I just said, if you want to make a change, get out there and do something. Don't be angry about it. Get out there and make a change.
Or be the change. Be the change you wish to see. Be the change you wish to see. And take it further.
I got you.
Because sometimes people change and they change, but you're doing the same thing, but you're just changing it up. You're just doing it differently.
I'll tell you what, we're going to change this story. We got to move on because I got a lot of stories. I'm going to see what ones I can get in here real quickly. So I'm going to be trying to move a little faster because we got a lot of stuff that I want to bring to the table. Taraji P. Henson.
Oh, no.
Okay. For being single.
Well, she did what?
She grew up around a 51-year-old actress that on the trauma, grew up around mental illness. She has reflected on the trauma that she faced as a child, as her father suffered from bipolar disorder. and she believes that she struggled to hold down a relationship as she needs to act as a caretaker for men in her life. Wow. That's
Doing something, being the change that you wish.
she said, at a young age, that's unfair. But that's in me now. Yeah. But she says, I don't know. I ain't married because I find men I need to fix, and you can't fix anybody.
Right.
And
Now that right
she
there.
previously felt suicide at the height of the whole, CV pandemic, and it was embarrassed at her lowest ebb. But you can go ahead. What were you saying now, Rick? Bring it on in. Uh-oh, we lost Rick for a moment. I think he said he'd be back. But what do you all feel about that? I mean, that's something that's real. Dealing with someone who has mental illness and you are the caretaker. To me, it's a learned behavior. She created a learned behavior that she just followed. But what do you all feel on that?
That's a really heavy situation, as well as a pattern. Like you said, it just gets picked up and carried on into other things. And so I
Right,
just like the fact that she started speaking out about that, saying go and get the help that you need versus just
right.
sitting there and still just being in it and not making things change or happen or be better for yourself. It's nothing to be
Right,
ashamed of to say that you need help. It's actually quite big and courageous of you to go ahead and be vulnerable and say, I need help. This is an issue, to recognize it as an issue, and to give it a label, and to actually go out there and seek professional help so that you can start healing and you can grow and you can become yourself again versus still repeating that pattern, or picking up those traits and still carrying it on into all of additional relationships you get into. So
right. I think it's very big of her also to recognize. I mean, everybody has a little something, and uh, I was talking to my niece today, and I think I don't know for Rick, I don't think I mentioned to you earlier, but um, everybody has a little something, and I know me, my OCD from yesteryear when I had the whole brain tumor thing, it actually spilled over into my life now. So you don't just stop being OCD. You might just reduce what it is, or it might change its form, but it's still there. And I am very funny about the way that I handle things, the things that are handled around me, like food, cleanliness, things like that. I'm really people would call it very meticulous. I call it very meticulous. And I'm even hard on myself. But I went from compulsive hand washing and things like that to another form of compulsive behavior. And we all have something that we're dealing with, but a lot of people don't want to admit what theirs is. And it's healthy to me to admit, and it's healthy to try to figure out how to solve that particular thing. What do you all think on that particular? And the other thing is this. I think, especially in the Black community, that is something that I would like to work with in the future, humanitarian wise, is the fact that the Black community has always frowned on mental illness and dealing with mental illness. They figured that just the church would solve everything. The church does not solve everything.
It
You
has
know,
on.
yes. So
It
what do
has
you all
on.
think about that?
I mean, even um, like starting from the household, not facing these things, like even especially as a kid, knowingly when your kids act up, they're coming from a place, and no one asks, you know, why do you feel this way, or why are you acting this way? Where is this coming from? As opposed to getting on their cases because they are acting as such or doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to approach it even as a kid, I didn't know. All I knew was being disciplined,
Right.
which is, when I didn't realize it, like, that's actually abusive because you're neglecting, or you refuse to face the fact that this child and even yourself has undealt issues, and you're not standing up, or you're not. You know what? You're not stomping that roach. You're not stomping that roach, and you wonder why when the lights come on, the roach is scattered.
Right. I get that.
Now you want to try to scatter. Now you want to try to deal with everyone when it's too late, or when they're too far gone. You know, and those issues are having babies, or those issues are multiplying with other individuals that they associate with. You know, especially as opposed to us dealing with that issue right then and there in the household. No, you're not going to be perfect with it because you yourself weren't taught how to deal with it. But just to take those hits, hey mom, hey dad, this is what you're doing. This is how you're affecting me. Hurt people. Like my oldest son told me, Rick, hurt people. If we were able to, when we deal with the trauma that's going on with ourselves, putting it all out on the table, I don't care how embarrassing it may seem embarrassing. That part, that's the imprisonment. We're concerned about the exteriors. We're concerned about society and how they think. So we keep it to ourselves. So we're not put in a position to be comfortable, be loved with the faults. So they do all this talking. No, tell me everything, and then turn right back around and use it against us. You know, we're not teaching, hey, you tell me what it is and it stays here. But this is your story. I'm not going to share your story with anybody else because of confidentiality. You know what I'm saying? That's what gets you fired when you break those grounds with your employer. But you're not the employer. You are a working environment. You're working with one another, with your family, with your spouse, with your kids, with your husband, with your wife. You're working together with it to develop an understanding like, baby, let that out. What is in you up? What has been in you up for so many years? Because I don't want you leaving this house treating your own kids or anybody else that way. So then you're avoided, or opportunities that's good for you. They avoid you because you don't know how to handle yourself, and you don't know how to get that out, or you haven't dealt with your demons or your trauma. Yet at the same time, who are we without trauma? Who are we? I learned that 2 weeks ago. Who are we without trauma? But there's a way in terms of dealing with that, as opposed to dealing with you over and over again, and it deals with other people over and over and over again. But yeah.
But you know that not everybody knows how to deal with their crap, and some people feel like they don't have any at all.
That's
And they speak to other people as if they don't have any at all, and I think that's the most disrespectful thing, or laugh at people, you know, because they feel like they don't have any at all. So, and to me, that's naive.
It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to themselves by denying it. It's disrespectful to those that they're actually sharing it with, because it's like, well, damn, if you wanted to share this, I mean, actually, because you can only share so many things with certain people, because if they're not there to listen, because we all want somebody. Really, we all need someone to listen to us. I keep learning it all the time. Rick, bro, he's calling you, like, it's not an opportunity for you to just interject. No, let him get it out. Let him get it out. And when he comes to a place, all right, dog, my bad, man. I just needed to get that out. And I'm like, well, damn, like, and then you hear things like, man, bro, you're a very easy person to talk to. You're a very easy person to talk to. Not so much as me interjecting, but someone to shut the hell up and listen. That's all it takes. And that can be a segue. No, that is a segue, because they're probably gonna come with something deeper. So as opposed to them going to someone else that doesn't give a damn, they know they can come to you, or those individuals that's willing to really listen and even more than likely relate, so that they also know that they're not the only damn ones. They're not damn. They're not the only ones at all. Like, bruh, okay, that's your deepest. Cool. Not that this is a challenge, but I got something else.
Like,
and this may rock your. Go ahead, Margo.
No, I just was agreeing with you. Everybody's got a little bit of something going on. It's just about where and how much of the trauma, where they place it, and if they're in that place to be able to heal and to release that so that they can begin to heal. So yeah, people, you're not the only one. Everybody's got something going on. a certain amount of crazy going on in their life everywhere.
Dark,
So
and even dark,
Right.
and you're looking all
And
cleaned up. No, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And I want
Go
to
ahead,
add
Tanya.
one more thing about Taraji. When Taraji was, speaking in the interview, what she said is that she was speaking to her girlfriend one day, one of her girlfriends, and she said, "So one day I just blurted it out to my girlfriend. She called me in the morning, and I was like, I thought about killing myself last night." And I said, "Oh my God, I feel so much better. I'm not going to do it now." But sometimes people, to you all, sometimes people need they need to share that very dark moment that they had. Um, Even if they, if you don't intend to follow through with something like that, a lot of people don't intend to, but they feel so devastated at that moment. They need that ear, that person that they can speak to and that will hear them. And so for her to say that, I know that had to be relieving for her, but had to be very deep, for her friend to hear something like that too, because sometimes you don't know a person is going through something so deep and so dark.
mhm.
Mm-hmm,
You know?
mm-hmm.
So, but we're going to move on from that story. Speaking of deep and dark, let me just here real quick. Oh, this story bothered me so much, but I just say, sometimes in this whole thing, you got to take the good with the bad, and you have to tell the bad stories too, just as you tell the good stories. Mother stabbed 1-year-old baby in pop.
Wait, what?
The police said a young mother. Just listen real quick. The police said a young mother stabbed her 1-year-old child in front of an officer in Greenville this Monday. The toddler was transported to the hospital after being stabbed by the 21-year-old woman. Sierra Dyer has been charged with attempted murder and felony child abuse. She's being held under a $1.5 million bond. Now, the police said that woman was arguing with a family member over who had the child's custody. When the police arrived at the scene, she was stabbing the 1-year-old in the back. And when the officer confronted her, she dropped the weapon. And it's just, that just bothered me so much, just in general. The a mother stabbing her own child, with the 1-year olds. I think 1-year olds are my favorite because they haven't discovered their personality all the way yet, and they
Stop,
just roll
stop.
on the sweet
Shoot.
side. And so I love 1-year olds, but just that whole thing is just y'all take it. Y'all take
So
that.
the officer
What do y'all
confronted her. The officer confronted her. Me, I'd rather a bullet confronted her. I'd rather he confronted her
feel?
with bullets. I'd rather he confronted her with bullets. And I'm just speaking like just real.
That's one of those
Yeah,
times,
a baby that doesn't have
right?
a chance, that did not have a chance. You're gonna put
Now, the baby is expected to recover. I'm gonna add that. I forgot to add that. The baby is expected to recover,
Good.
but just that
Good.
hard thing that's really hard. And, oh yeah, you know what? Before we go any further into this story, I see here that Clayton Faircloth, your guy, Rick, he responded and probably responded on the last subject matter. So let's go back over real quick, and then we're gonna come forward again. So Clayton says, Rick knows
No,
my
that
wife,
actually
and when
happened. That
uh,
actually happened about 45 minutes away from me.
oh really?
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. We're gonna come back to that story in just a few moments. Let's pick up with Clayton's uh, uh, comments real quick. Rick knows my wife, and when her and I started to really become friends, she was dealing with quite a bit of trauma from how her last relationship ended. And he said her ex unfortunately passed due to a collapsed lung, and help wasn't able to get there in time. Whoa, that's hard. He said, I took my past experiences with trauma to help her get through what she was going through, and she's a much stronger woman now. That's wonderful.
That's
That
big.
is,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
That
big.
trauma, that's trauma, something else, boy.
That it dealing with quite a bit of trauma from now on. Hold on, this part
Hmm.
passed due to a collapsed lung
Hmm.
and because of
Yeah.
trauma. So it didn't even take suicide. we done dealt with trauma. It doesn't take suicide. It's the body and how it functions. It turns off the lights like enough is enough. The body is tired. When a certain organ shuts down, when they're undealt with issues or the attention, the chance is shut down. Eventually, so will the organs. But is this taught in health class growing up? Is this taught in biology in freshman year?
Not much is taught. I mean, really, we know that not much is taught at all. And hopefully, we're going to get to a point of real life teachings. That's what needs to happen. Again, real life.
You're right.
Real life. Keeps coming up all night tonight. But that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Margo, do you have a comment you wanted to make?
Oh no, I just was repeating real life like Rick was doing. That just was the same thing.
Oh man, one day I'm gonna bring that clip to the show so that y'all can see that was back in 1992 when I started my first production of Real Life in Austin, Texas, and I had a camera shot and I screamed it on the air. So I screamed it on the air, Real Life, at the opening of the show. So that was the very first production under the Tandy companies.
I'll talk to you about that later. That was actually an alarm. Just real quick. That was actually an alarm. When we were on our post and we heard the song come on and you said, Real Life. Oh wait a second. Dude, what are you doing? We out here in the lobby talking? Like, man, somebody get like, wait, what? Like, man, okay. He's in.
The fear set in.
Yeah, like, wait, we supposed to be our post. What are we doing? We heard Real Life, like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, the fear set in on you. I know that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll bring the whole real life thing in because at some point here, because by the way, the show was 29 years ago. Next year will be 30 years, and we'll have a big. Yes.
Wow.
We will have a blowout next year for that.
I had a Nestle Crunch forehead when I. Okay, never mind.
Well, let's get back to the stories here. Like the real dark story that we saw just now was the 1-year-old being stabbed. I'm glad the bond is extremely high there, but I don't really have a whole lot more to say about old girl because I think that was just something, the signs of a lunatic. There's no custody situation or anything in this world to me that was that important for you to lose all your mind like that.
Why is there a bond? Why is there a bond? That's the question.
Why is there what?
Why is there a bond? Why?
I got you there too.
So wait, there's a bond for a child to potentially die. So it's like you're giving someone a chance, a financial chance. You know, like people can just come up with millions. Like, hey, here you go. Thank you for doing that.
Right.
No, there shouldn't be an opportunity. It's that no matter how, even if it's like trillions, no, there shouldn't be a bond at all.
I would think so too. I would think so too. So I totally understand what you're saying.
You're giving someone a chance. You're giving them a chance to do it again, basically.
Right.
You're giving them a chance to do it. No,
well, let's speaking of people who possibly would do something again. Tyga. Okay, we know the rapper Tyga. You know, he had his song out there. He the clique that he was with, he was a Lil Wayne's clique, right? The whole what's the name of that family?
Wolfgang.
Family.
Yeah, Young Money. What is it? Black and Yellow. Yeah, Wolfgang. Yeah, I believe so. I'm old, so. Young Money, get the Young Money click. Yeah. Anyway, what did he do?
I'm sure they transported the names a million times, but I still know him from that old the old clique. And it just seems like he got into this whole he started his career, and then he had this whole thing with Black China, and then the child with Black China, and then the relationship with Kylie Jenner, and now he has another young lady who her name is Cameron Swanson, and apparently this is what has happened. Okay, I'm going to read the title. Tyga, he is cooperating with the cops after his ex-girlfriend claimed he got physical, and she put pictures out there on the internet of, I guess, supposedly the post altercation between the two. Um, Okay, there's a situation. I'm reading, mostly looking at the follow up here. She posted a video showing her alleged injuries, and she says she's standing up for herself. And she also refutes what other sources close to Tiger told TMZ, about her showing up uninvited to, I guess, a function that he was having. And, Cameron has messages that appear to show that Tiger sent a car to pick her up at 3 a.m. Now, of course, shout out to TMZ and NEWSBREAK for this story. Tiger and his girlfriend got into it after she showed up at the home screaming in the middle of the night. And now she's accusing him of domestic violence, is what TMZ is saying. According to a source that's very close to the rapper, his ex-girlfriend came over to the home at 3 a.m. and he told her not to. And she was at the front door shouting at the top of her lungs. And TMZ says that they're told that Tyga and other family members in his home felt that Cameron appeared to be under the influence, but still let her inside the talk, and the yelling continued. And so they're saying that law enforcement sources say that Cameron claims that Tyga put his hands on her during the argument. And afterward, her mother came to pick her up, and then she called the cops to report the alleged events. And TMZ is saying we're told the responding officers saw physical marks on her, and they took a report of felony domestic abuse. And I don't want to read anymore. So what do y'all think about this? I just, it's just so.
So first thing and foremost, you show up at an odd hour of the night, uninvited. You wake up, wake someone up, or you wake them out of their peace or their celebration. They just probably chilling, whatever. And at that point, really, she could have had hands on from anybody. It could have been even a female, but she chose Tyga. We don't know. Hence the word, and I like that word, allegedly. Allegedly, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You didn't allegedly show up. We know that you showed up by yourself.
You showed your ass up. Yeah.
You knocked on the door of you knocked on a door at an odd hour of the night. Who's knocking on the door at an odd hour of the night? What do you want at that hour? It's either drama or it's latex or baby wipes. But Rick, anyway.
Is what, Rick? Is
Say that again, Rick. Say that again.
What? Who? What? No, it's at that hour of the night, you want some kind of trouble, be it good or bad, at that time of the night. But now you want to take advantage of someone's condition because they're in a condition that they chose. They weren't expecting you. You violated their boundaries. Because there was a no call, no show. So you actually terminated yourself. You terminated your own reputation by doing a no call, but you showed up. Actually, you did a no call and you showed up. You have no sense of respect, but now you walking away with bruises and expecting for the audience to respect that. Like, what do you expect? I know you didn't say what you did to provoke it. I'm not even saying at all. Anybody has a right to put their hands on anybody unless they provoke it. Because for every action, there's an opposite and a reaction. Because ain't nobody just going to take a beating or take hits and not do anything about it. If you are in your right mind, unless you have the power to, you know what, I'm just going to walk you outside the house, or even just ain't no telling who did what to her. Ain't no telling.
I'm going to tell you, in my mind's eye, the dispute is going to be probably in the text messages, did he actually send the car for her, or did she show up unannounced? That's the dispute in there. And then if she showed up, no matter whether she was sent for or not, if she was yelling and screaming, being belligerent, and they feel like she was on something, that can be used as a case, but then she's going to be used as a case of putting his hands on in general. So it's a he said, she said, and I wonder how that all is going to turn out, if there's anybody that's going to have any real evidence. Rick?
I got one for you. I got one for you. Who's to say that she didn't show up with those bruises before she got to the crib? What about that? Possibility.
Always possible.
That possibility that you left out, that she left out.
Yeah.
So
always
you got these. You say what?
But I'm like possible, but probably very slim with showing up with the bruises already. But it is uncalled for her to be screaming and yelling at that time of the night and just creating a commotion. But yeah, it doesn't warrant her still getting, for a man to put his hands on her.
Or
I know it can go both ways. For a female can, hit on the dude, but
it could have been his company that was there, a female companion that was there that put her hands on her. It could have been, but like I said, so much.
I wonder who else was there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Who else was there, and who's to say that she didn't provoke the other individual that put their hands on her, or did she put her hands on them first? You know what I'm saying? Who's just going to sit there and take the hit? Who's going to sit there and be shooken, and then call a woman hitter? Like I'm just going to take that label because it's been so thrown around because I'm a dude, but you showed up my crib unannounced. Number one, number two. Right. It could have been somebody else that was there with me. It could have been a female that was there to put her hands on you. You know what I'm saying? Because he did not, for all we know, he didn't want anything to do with it. He didn't want anything to do with it at all. He didn't want anything to do with you. Right. That's why you came unannounced, because he wanted nothing to do with you. So now you want to show you behind.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna wait and see how this one turns out, because like I said before, we're trying to move fast on our stories tonight. But the other thing is this: it all comes out in the wash. Whether it's witnesses or whether it's text messages and all that, something's gonna show up, because Tiger is right now, he is cooperating. So what is it? We're gonna find out. I think he just needs a better choice of young girls and women that he deals with. Well, he's not dealing with any women. He just needs a better choice of young girls that he deals with.
It's still and leave him alone for a minute. Do Tiger. Tiger find your find yourself.
Right. Exactly. Find yourself. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Well, you know what? Speaking of people finding themselves, how dare you, kiddo? Little Boosie bought his behind here to ATL, and he and his entourage are accused of damaging property here in this live concert in Atlanta this month. Boosie, I tell you.
His name got, bad ASS in there, is it? Hey, it's bound to happen. That's a part of his name, so he gonna tear something up. Just make sure he pays for it. Get it in writing. Get a contract in writing before you step foot in there, because it's a part of your name. This is going to be in a contract. Right. Whatever you pay up, you pay up plus a little extra fee.
Exactly.
Pay up front.
That's right. He had his behind over there at the State Farm Marina on my birthday, October 2nd. Didn't nobody tell him to be there acting up? Well, it was the incident happened on October 1st, the night before. But he was here for the Legends of Street concert, which was 2 Chainz, Lil' Kim, and Rick Ross. And didn't nobody tell him to act up? So all I'm going to say is we ain't going to focus on what Lil Boosie is doing any more than that. He just needs to get it together and get it right. Oh, y'all, look at one of my birthday balloons. You see how it's going all the way down? It says, I quit. It's quitting. It is. You see it hid behind the, as soon as I start talking about it, it went and hid behind the chair.
Oh,
It's embarrassed now. They had no business back there acting up. Okay, well, here's another story. This one's kind of a rough story to me, and I hadn't gone through it a lot, but we're going to go through it together. Police arrest Black man who was having a stroke. Okay, I did see this story, but I saw it in a different publication. Shout out to NEWSBREAK again. Al Copeland was driving down a Boston road one April night in 2019 when he began to feel nauseous and pulled over. At the time, the 62-year-old didn't realize it, but he was having a stroke. And he said to WBUR News, "I was afraid. I say, well, at least if anything happens to me, somebody will find me." And it was the officers with the Boston Police Department who found Copeland slumped over and barely conscious. Instead of calling for an ambulance, the officers placed Copeland under arrest, writing in the report that they smelled alcohol. And Copeland says that he hasn't had a drink since 1995. And now Copeland's wife, Valerie, told the outlet that she believes that his race led the officers to believe that he was drunk. And she was like, why they didn't assume he was sick? I can only and strongly believe it's because he's a Black male. And the officers' assumptions led the city of Boston to paying $1.3 million in a settlement at the Copeland enjoyed damage, lack of medical attention. That's what I'm saying right there. Hit them in the pockets. Sometimes what you got to do, hit them in the pockets. That's where it counts. Because that's a crazy ass story. What do y'all think about that one?
I think it had a very good ending. That's what I think. It had a very good ending. So everything was solved on that end. But yeah, they should have, if he was found slumped over, it shouldn't, just because you smell alcohol, still see about some type of medical attention. Just because it was an odd situation. Somebody's pulled over and they slumped over and they're not
responding. Hitting sound? That was Rick clapping.
Yeah, he was clapping or something.
They should have got every bit of their money.
Just so he was saying.
Well, first of all, let's hit the comments and say, I see Shannon over there. Hey, Shannon. And Shannon said, what we're talking about, Little Boosie, she said, what would you expect? Would you expect any less of from Little Boosie? No, I guess not, but he better not tear my city anymore. That's what I'm saying. And then Mongoose said, what up, y'all? Hey, what's up, Mongoose? Yeah. But yeah, as far as the whole police thing, sometimes, like I say, some people don't learn until there's money involved. And that department, no matter what, that department got hit in the pocket for some craziness that they decided to do, so I'm glad to see that, for a change. I'm really glad to see that.
Yeah, and I'm sure they developed a whole new procedure of how to handle if you see somebody like that again.
Yes,
so it's not,
I hope that it leads to a lot of others.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing. I really hope that's what it leads to, is that they will be more careful about people who they are trying to arrest. I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm not familiar with this young lady, R&B singer Imani, age 22. She died this week, and I'm not familiar with her, but of course, we lift her family and her friends up in prayer. Because I don't know the story, and so there's a whole thing about it. But I'm going to skip over that one tonight and just give them a huge shout out that her family and prayer. Her family and friends and fans and supporters are lifted up in prayer. Okay, another story here. Yeah, another story here. I'm trying to hurry up because we got to get out. We got to get to the living room. But this one here I thought was interesting. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss faces legal trouble with popular Atlanta eatery months after failed health inspection. So the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kandi has not been having the best luck with her popular Atlanta eateries. Burruss and her husband, Todd Tucker, own 2 restaurants under the company. Burruss Tucker Restaurant Group, LLC, Old Lady Game, which is an old soul restaurant here at Blaze, an upscale steak and seafood restaurant, and the couple has been being accused of owing over $5K in back taxes. That's a little bit of money. That's only a tiny bit of money. Radar for Candy. For Radar Online reports that the lien is seemingly connected to Burris and Tucker's business taxes, which they're expected to pay on a quarterly basis. And in July 2021, Burris and Tucker were hit with a separate lien over a 2020 bill that states that they owed back taxes. At the time, the restaurant owners of owing over $15K for the year will come to over $20K. Still ain't no money, y'all. Why y'all hassling over that? Why y'all hassling over that? You know, $20K. That's not money compared to people who owe large amounts of taxes and still own business. Continue on, Tanya. Stop the judgment. Let me keep going. The tax issues months after Blaze failed health inspection. Now that is an issue. The restaurant Blaze did fail health inspections. During a recent health inspection, the restaurant failed and was shut down until they rectified a number of problems. It currently has a C rating. Some of the issues listed in the failed health inspection include the inspector noting expired food being used, food not being housed in appropriate temperatures, and food not being properly labeled. So, you know, they have some things that they can fix there, but anybody feel like this is a story that they're kind of blowing out of control? Or
maybe
anybody else feel that?
Or is it a distraction? You know what I'm saying? Like these things, like we can talk about the green beans from one of these or several of these chicken places, or these buffet places. You know, this ain't the only pit stop. This ain't the only place. Why now? Like, what is your motive? Like, are you going to go in?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you're just going to give us tidbits about what you just now discovered? Like, it's been happening since, when I was eating churches when they had peppers. Like, they've been having these practices. They prolong foods and they keep them stored away and exposed to oxygen, and then put them back in the freezer just to refrom or redecorate them. No, they're gonna have to come with something else.
Yeah, I think that this.
I'm gonna sprinkle some spice dust on it, and you like that glistening. I'm gonna spray some oil on it, get that glistening. Right. I mean, 2-month-old, whatever, and and I'm not supposed to get sick. And
that's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy. Well, you know what? I'm only going to do 3 more stories here because there is, let's see, I want to get into the living room, but I got 3 more quick stories and we're going to try to go through them a little bit on the quick side. Well, this one here, first of all, is just absolute bananas to me, but this is the crazy stuff that people do. There was a Black woman firefighter who was honored in a mural. Okay.
Nice.
In it, her face was painted white.
Wow. Well, here we go.
How did we make this mistake?
Not let it begin, but let it continue.
I'd be like, this and that, this and that. Like, what happened?
Yes. How you missed that up?
Look at this mural. Yeah.
How in the world? Well, let me just go ahead and read it to you real quick.
No, Tanya, you better not touch on that because we're going to be some angry Black folks.
Yeah. I'm just going to give y'all a little bit of detail, okay? Last year, a mural went up in Boynton Beach, Florida, celebrating the heroic local firefighters. One of the women depicted was Latasha Clemens, age 48, the first Black female firefighter in Boynton Beach, who served as deputy fire chief until her retirement in mid-2020. Now, they say, let's just put that aside, that she's the first Black female, anything in 2020, pretty egregious on her own, but they were just saying in general, that was a big thing. And now they say the Insider reported that they're voting next week on a proposed $80,000 settlement. You think that you're gonna buy me off with 80K? You think you're gonna buy me off with any kind of K?
That don't even match the amount of years she put in with her salary. Like, wait. Hold on. But real quick, for all the women, all the sisters, and I say sisters, I mean all women. Hold on, just be clear, all women. Doing it for ourselves.
Oh Lord, here you go.
I know what it was. I know what it meant. Doing it for yourselves, and you're doing it for yourselves. You're doing it for yourselves to be paying like somebody else. Check, please.
That's what I'm saying. That's some craziness right there. I know how I would feel if I was, I'm finally gonna get some recognition for all the hard work that I've done and risking my life out here and blase this, that, and the third. And I look up. I don't care if it was a purple woman. I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care if we the same race, but you're gonna credit somebody else for my effort?
Exactly.
Damn, if I can do that every damn day, if I can look here.
And I'm telling you, I would feel the same way even if it was a person that didn't look like me and they had that person. I would still do the same thing.
It does not matter. It's what you are blatantly.
I would still be mad. Like I said, even if it was a person that they were still black.
My ninja.
Y'all know I'm doing my selfie, right? Y'all know don't say.
Hey, enjoy yourself.
I forget. I should do it before the show, but I forget every time because I'm always rushing in the door. Y'all know that.
Whose platform is it? Anyway.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Let me get the last two stories here. I'm going to run through this real quickly. I love Insecure. Yeah. What do you say something?
Nice.
I love that.
I don't watch the show.
Yeah.
My wife watches the show, but
you're missing out. You ought to watch it with her.
It's really a fun show.
It is. I saw like tidbits, whatever. I'm like, well, damn, this is
pretty cool.
It's not negative. It ain't we just effing and doing each other wrong. It's just experiences. Because I was like, when I watched the movie ATL, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm guilty of it. Like when I watched movies, I was like not related to. I'm like, yo, like this ain't necessarily just built on violence, like how they portray us, but it's like on some real life situations, and by me being an artist, relating to it on some, just some dream level or inspiration level, even, the outcome, the end of the movie, I was like, yes, it didn't end like Boys in the
for ATL. That's the thing that I loved about the movie ATL. Just a sidebar like that is that you ever feel like in the past, and shout out to all the filmmakers out there who stepped out of the box and did these movies. We're definitely glad that you did them, any kind of movie, and of course the Black filmmakers. But I remember Menace to Society had me traumatized, and I felt like every movie from there I was gonna be traumatized.
I mean, okay, no diss to him, and actually God rest his soul. But it's like, there's only so many movies that we create in which I'm like, I gotta feel depressed further, though this is real life situation. Real life. But this doesn't necessarily that's not the life that I've lived, though potentially it could happen, but we have bigger visions. We have greater outcomes than what we allow ourselves to be portrayed as. And to see these kind of movies or these kind of series, it's like even like watching Atlanta. You're going to have the bad, but you got more of the good, a lot of the good, like a lot of the neutral. I like seeing that, not ending it as a little red.
They have funny funny things, cute things.
Yeah. Things that'll make you think, or things that's like, well, damn, am I treating her like this? Or am I treating her?
And I'll say this real quick. The funny thing about it was, and I'm learning to have a bit of a Georgia accent, but the funniest thing is to listen to the way that the Georgians say.
I love the Georgia accent. I love the Georgia accent. I love it.
It's really a whole different language.
It's like to me, their language is like listening to Muddy Waters and John Coltrane at the same time. It's like a cool, smooth, like a cool, smooth country dialect. It's like the enunciations of their own language. It's like their own language, you know. And I hope that it never changes. I hope it never changes.
It is a totally different language.
Atlanta is their own vibe. Atlanta is their own vibe.
I mess with my friends sometime because he'll say orange. And I'll say that again. What'd you say? What color was that? He'll say orange.
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 Like, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I always remember, even my days of visiting during Freaknik, way back before I moved here. Yeah, way back.
You was there?
I remember when I ran into Andre 3000 and Big Boy passing out their CDs when they were not even the Outcast that everybody knew, and they were passing out their CDs.
You were living in North Carolina.
You said what?
We can't hear you, Veronica.
What'd you say, Veronica?
And then she posing with it. And she stuck with it. I know she gonna just pose with it. She gonna say something.
She didn't pop lock. She just locked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we come out soon. No, what did you say, Veronica? What did you say? Oh, for real? That's what we're gonna do? Oh, for real?
Yeah, she didn't hear you.
She's gonna pour
but
up. He's gonna pour up.
I know you were.
What you say about
I know you mentioned Insecure, and that is like my show. So I was so excited to hear that it's coming back up this month.
Yeah,
and so
birthday month in North Carolina.
Huh? You said what?
She said, I think she said you would love it in North Carolina.
Oh, that's
the dialect.
The accent to the dialect. Yeah, definitely. But Margo, Issa Rae has a new show, and I saw the trailer for it. It's really neat, but I'll have to pull it again so that we can talk about it because I don't remember. But all I remember is when it comes on.
You will love it here in North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will love it here in North Carolina.
Okay, Veronica, we got the NC. Let me finish up this story real quick so we can get that last story. We can move on from here. This story is Black Twitter slam Insecure star Yvonne Orji after she's accused of being a real life Molly. Okay, Black Twitter wasn't too happy with the Insecure actress. This week on October 11th, negative chatter about the star began to swirl on social media after a Twitter user by the name of @TheCrystal Uncut recalled a rude encounter that she had with a 37-year-old celeb. The user, who also goes by Crystal for short, shared a surprising tidbit after she replied to another social media goer who asked, "Who was the meanest celeb you've ever met?" In the string of tweets, Crystal then began to break down her odd exchange with Orji, which coincidentally took place at a women's empowerment event. Oh no. She said, "I met Iman Orji at the Women's Empowerment Conference. She was about to give her speech, and I asked for a picture while she was waiting, and she said no." And she says, "I respect her privacy. Move on and take my seat in the front row," she wrote.
Well, if they're not in a mood to take a pic, then respect that. I don't owe you a pic just because I asked.
If I'm about to go on stage,
Or if I'm just even in chill mode, maybe I just want to dig in my ear and look how the wax looks. Like, I don't want to be bothered. Like, I don't want to be bothered.
He
Respect
said,
it.
dig in my ear. Dig
I mean,
in
I
my ear.
want some time to myself without feeling obligated
Right.
from not necessarily a fan, but an appreciator, however, whatever. But I don't owe you anything just because you asked, just because I'm in
Right.
a light or in a certain light. I'm human too. There are times in which it's like when you're out there dating and the dude asks for your number. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't want to. So why is this any different? Why is this any different? If you're not into it, if you're not into it, if you're not in the mood to, then no one owes you anything, and you don't owe anyone anything.
That's true. That is actually true. That you don't, because that is a time where I'm conflicted on that one when it means when it comes to stuff like that. Yeah, because it has to. Yeah, because if I'm doing something and I'm about to, especially if I'm about to speak or something like that, that's a tense moment right there. So I can't exactly say that I would feel like she was the rudest or the meanest. It would just be that moment. Just like somebody may not understand my saying that Robert Townsend was rude to me. And nobody's ever rude to me. And that was the first person that I felt like was kind of rude, but I caught him at a time.
Tinseltown?
Yeah, and I guess I called him at a time where he was just like, you know, he was about to do something else, and I guess it just wasn't the moment. So I can't really say anything, but you know, everybody has their moments that they are feeling something, and I can't, you know, say that he was this, he was that. It just wasn't the time for me to talk to him. When I look back at it, it wasn't the time.
And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't his time, you know, because like we get like. We're human. Like we see somebody that we appreciate their works and been following for years, and they've been in our household for years, and their works for years, and we feel like, you know, I've been, you know, watch you. I appreciate you, this and that, and third. And then it's like it's supposed to make them feel like they owe us something. No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Give them 2 meetings, at least 2 meetings. Like the second time around, if you ever come and they, you know, and they meet across path, give them 2 meetings, because sometimes we never know what happened to them before they're getting on to do, you know, their body of work, whatever it is, they're speaking at a function, or, you know, we never know what transpired, because just the same as that with that Nene Leakes incident, and somebody saying she responded kind of. I'm like, you got to understand, her husband was sick, and she's dealing with the weight of that. You can't just automatically just keep her in that space at that time, you know, just because she didn't do what you wanted to do. It's the same as that with Yvonne Orji, not giving a picture, but giving them 2 meetings. Because trust me, they might be superstars or in the limelight, but they're not perfect. They're not perfect.
But
neither are we.
I agree with that
too. Perfection has nothing to do with it. It's just a matter of just being human. Because giving them, like, even putting a limit on them, giving them 2 meetings, I would say it can be luck of the draw, because you may meet them again later on and they'll be so excited to and do a picture or do a video with them and go on the gusto. You just never know what a person is going through at that time. But when they are, when they're done dealing with and rinsed what they were dealing with, sometimes it can take them years. You know, sometimes
it's a tough place to stand, and I had to learn that one. But you know what?
That's famous or not. That's famous or not.
Right. Because I've interviewed a lot of people over time. You just never know how you're going to catch somebody. Most of the time, being the press, they actually, being with press, they actually would reshape themselves and they would snap to it for me. But sometimes, you know, you catch some things, and I never wrote about it or I never reported on it because it just wasn't fair, you know.
Well, I got one for you. As opposed to what I've learned, it's like, as opposed to, can I get this? Can I get that? It's more so, how are you feeling? Like the approach. Because if you see everyone approaching that, you know what I'm saying, with wanting without asking how they feel. How are you? Hey, how are you? How are you? Are you okay to take a picture? They would be less reluctant. You know, they would be like more like, wow, this mother asked me how do I feel. They cater. They asked me. They gave a damn. Hollywood doesn't give a damn, or people don't give a damn. They're more interested in what they want as opposed to, hey, how are you? How's your day? How are you feeling? And if it's okay with you, may I have, or may I blah 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 blah, whatever. And they would be more like, hey, well, shit. With that introduction, it's about our introduction. They know that we all have. Everyone has a want. Everyone has a want.
You just never know what's going to be, but let's just move on because we got one more story.
Right.
One more story. Now, I was a little surprised with this story. And, you know, y'all forget us that this is a very long segment tonight because I had a lot of stories. But Bill Cosby is being sued for $125 million by former Cosby Show actress, claiming that he drugged and raped her. Now, this is the first time I've ever heard this. So this is that Bill Cosby's facing this $125 million civil lawsuit from a woman who claimed that he drugged and raped her in the 90s. The actress is Lily Bernard. She's age 53, and she was a guest star on The Cosby Show in 1984, where she played the role of Mrs. Minifield. And I think I remember that character. She says that in August 1990, the 84-year-old comedian who encouraged her to call him daddy lured her to a hotel in Atlantic City where he then carried out the alleged attack after promising to mentor her on his top-ranked TV show. She was 26 years old at the time. Now, in a statement, Bernard said, I have waited a long time to be able to pursue my case in court. And I look forward to being heard and to hold Cosby accountable for what he did to me. And she's added, although it occurred a long time ago, I still live with the fear, pain, and shame every day of my life. And I don't live with no fear now. I don't know about that fear thing, girl. Maybe the pain and the shame, I can understand that. Bernard is one of 60 women who has accused Cosby, what's known as America's Dad, for his various variety of offenses, including groping, sexual assault, and rape, and dating as far back as the 1960s. And so I'm not going to go any further in that whole thing because, it's just a little bit too much for us where we are tonight. But what do you all feel about that? Cosby's troubles, they are still circulating and not going away, it seems like anytime soon. So what do you feel about that?
With Dr. Cosby, by him pursuing what he's pursuing, all these allegations coming out the woodworks. And I do believe that sometimes truths are prolonged for so many years, but I do believe that there's a certain point when there's a certain time in which you're going to have to face this. You're going to have to face this. Now, the lifeline of this case that's been going on, I want to ask, why now, as with anybody else in their right mind, why now? Because this is popping off after we alleged him doing this and this and that and the third.
I don't understand the fear. She said the fear. I don't understand that. He's 84 years old. What he gonna do to you? But I'm trying to figure out the fear part. But I can understand the shame and all the other, But I don't understand the fear.
So I'm like this. What if someone did that to any one of us? You've done this, and years later, and there's no. Is there a paper trail? Is there a paper trail leading up to now? Where is the paper trail? Where is from when the suit was filed, and then now we have to? Oh, wait a second, Dr. Cosby. You did this too. You did this too. Because that can happen. That can happen to any one of us nowadays. Any one of us. Someone can fathom and make up or just fabricate some things. I'm not saying that it's not true. Let me get that understood. But at the same time, how true is it? How true is it? How true is it? And how true is it not? That's the question, because it's so long, for so many years. How long has this suit? What is the birth? When is the birth of this suit? When is the birth of it? And what was the distraction, or what was the pause of this suit? When was it put on hold, and why was it put on hold? Like, what is the bread? What are the breadcrumbs? What are the breadcrumbs?
Yeah, that's a really rough one right there. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that one. I really would like to see more developments on this one. And I'm just going to reserve my judgment a little bit more until that time, because
it's not necessarily judgment, but it's more so analytical.
Oh, my opinion. Yeah.
It's like, so much like judgment is just, it's really like analytical and logical. So what was the beginning, and what happened in between time with that from that beginning? What was said, what was not said, what was done, and what was not done? You know, does he have? Is there lawyers in the background that's keeping this case on hold, or you know? That's the case, because I feel like you may have something to hide. You may have something to hide, as opposed to like dealing with it, dealing with the court, dealing with it. But if the suit started and it's still prolonged, it's kind of funky. It's kind of funky as a man, or as a person. No, as a person, as an individual, smash that shit and smash it on up to, like, face it. Whether it's right or wrong, face it. Deal with it. You can be done with it and live your life. But if you're prolonging it by doing or not doing, it smells kind of funky.
There's a lot on that one. That's why I said we got to move forward. Let's get to the living room. We're gonna stick a pin in that one, and we will be back and figure out what's going on with Dr. Cosby at a certain point. Hey y'all, it is time for the living room. Hey, welcome to the living room. You know, we're in the living room late tonight. We hung out sipping tea for a long time, but I knew it was gonna be long when I saw all of those doggone stories. And I said, there's a lot that's going, and I actually cut back on the stories. To let you know that. But welcome to the living room, y'all. Tonight's topic is transparency. Is it necessary in successful relationships? And you know what we mean by transparency? We mean being transparent, honest with one another, open with one another. The level of transparency is the decision to me that's between the two of you, but it is the openness and the honesty that people have in their relationship. And we want to hear tonight, I want to hear from you all as the panelists, and we want to hear from the people out there as well. Is it a necessary part of having a successful relationship, or is the relationship successful because you have the transparency? Is it the chicken or the egg? So I really want to know how you feel about transparency in a relationship. And if there is no transparency, is that relationship doomed to fail? That's really where I want to go. So who wants to kick it off? Tonight? And hit us in the comments, y'all. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the show so that you can hit that notification bell so that you can see every time that we are doing some type of show. So what y'all got on this one?
Transparency. Yeah. Being able to be clear, having clarity. And that's what people claim to want. But the crazy thing is, it'll be used against you in the contempt of their court to fit their narrative, to make you wrong in them, right? I've learned that. I learned that with relationships from intimate, or friendships, or families, co-workers, strangers, even being
He said it would be
transparent.
used against you in their court. I'm sorry, I had to just say that one more time, but go ahead.
Hmm. You really actually not just in their court of law, but even in the court of their own flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you going to make my flaws better or make it more truthful than your truth? They're going to take tidbits and pieces of your truth and use it against you a lot of times. Sometimes you got those, it's like, hey, all right, hey, this brother or this sister, okay, okay. I expected them to, based on what I heard, I expected them to go the other way. Um, so they already have their mind made up. A lot of times, people have their mind made up already on how they think of you because of what they've heard, as opposed to going to the source. And it's like saying, you were relieved of these allegations, but a lot of times people still feel like the allegations are still not enough, though the proof is on the table. The proof is on the stand. The proof is right then and there. They're being clear as day, letting you know how they feel. Pick out ways to, like, they may feel like they want to say, like, well, I feel threatened because you said this and that and the third. Well, if you feel threatened because I said that, well, no. Sometimes it's switching. No. It ain't what you said. It ain't what you said. It was just how you said it. Regardless of how I said it, I told you the truth. So no matter what, you're not going to be comfortable. So because you're not comfortable of the truth that is coming from me, then how can I expect that you're going to tell any truth, despite how transparent that I am being? Now, this is what you want, or this is what you think that you want, or this is what you think that you are ready for, but truly you're not. Truly you're not. But there are those that's like, you know what, man, I apologize because they said, he said, they said, but I'm glad I finally went to the source. I'm like, no, you should have came to me from the get-go. Because if this was on your heart, if this was on your mind, or if you got from the he say, she say, just the first time, just for the first time, or they said, he said or she said, you did or you said this. No. Or, yeah, I said it because it is. Or, no, I didn't do it. No, it wasn't me. That's not what I said. But people have a tendency of getting other factors involved. Some will say yay, some will say yay, and they didn't get a full understanding. No, they didn't want a full understanding because at the same time, they may have an out against you because they don't want to deal with the truth. They don't want to deal with the truth themselves, and they felt offended, or they thought you was offensive because of how you said it, despite how it was said. Was it said? Did you get the message? Was it said?
Well, I want to break some things down in transparency just for the audience so that they can understand exactly what we're saying. There's an article that I kind of want to go with, and then Rick, you can kind of jump back in on that. But there's an article where it's on ocrelationshipcenter.com, actually Orange County relationship. And actually, this something that is brought up in this relationship is transparency in a relationship. How much should I share? And that is really the point, is how much should you share? Honesty in a relationship or honesty in a marriage is impossible without sharing some of your innermost thoughts and feelings with your partners, what the article does say. And I agree. And they're saying that the thought of being transparent with a significant other can be scary, even for the bravest soul. But you may begin to wonder if you're better off being opaque or just reasonably transparent. So there's a whole part of this that says trust before transparency, or transparency before trust. All successful relationships are built on trust. And that means that even a new relationship needs a healthy dose of it to survive and ultimately thrive. And the amount of transparency that you provide your partner should be in direct relation to how much trust you have for your significant other. So when it comes to this whole thing about trust in there, what do you all feel which one comes, trust before transparency or transparency before trust? What do you all feel about that? Okay, Rick is muted out. So I guess Margo, I just came back over here. Margo and Veronica, I just came back over because when I'm looking at the article, I can't see what y'all are doing. So what do you all feel about which one is more important first, trust before transparency or transparency before trust? Okay, Margo, I think it's freezing. Margo, I think Margo, can you hear me? I think
Hello?
she's freezing. But the question is, which one it should come first, trust before transparency or transparency before trust?
Well, if you're transparent, because you're transparent, trusting me, that's not even a question, because that comes with the territory. We all know that grass is green, so why?
I think trust is the.
Well, I think Margo's able to talk now.
Go ahead.
I think
Transparency before trust.
So basically, Veronica, you feel transparency should happen before trust, and Margo, it sounded like Margo was saying that trust before transparency. Am I correct? I think Margo's having some issues with her phone tonight too. Okay, and so that's what I think she's having a little bit of trouble with hers. Veronica, you staying in it tonight, girl? You hanging on, girl? Her phone is saying, okay, her connection has her hanging in there.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
I think trust. You got to.
Okay. We did pick that up. Is that Margo feels like trust? Feels like trust should come first.
Trust
should come first. Sorry, go ahead. Go, Rick.
Trust. If someone is telling you and being clear as day, how can you not trust that? Because you're going to find out in the end anyway. Consistency or the common denominator, it's all going to add up. You're going to find out, either at that time or later on. With as long as it's consistent, and it's going to show. You are clear and you are transparent as all get out. Then of course trust shouldn't have to be a question. Right. It should not have to be a question. You can't go to Luby's and not see food. It's called a buffet. You can't call a buffet without food.
Luby's.
That makes no sense. Huh?
That was that's a Texas cafeteria, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Luby's. I don't know if it's a Texas thing, but yeah.
What's there? It is there. Yeah, it's there, but I think it's other places too.
Like, how can you call it a buffet? Okay. How can you call it a buffet when there's no food? Right. So how can you have what is it? How can you have how can you be clear without honesty? That makes no sense. Like, what are you leaving out? You're leaving out the essentials. You're leaving out the essentials. That makes absolutely no sense. Veronica, what is your take on that?
Veronica, and then Rick muted out. Okay. You know what? While y'all doing that, Rick, you muted out, but I'm gonna go back to the article real quick, just in case, just for the audience there to help us with this particular point. They said, regardless of the length of time that you've been together, trust isn't a set in stone thing. Each day is either increased or diminished by the way that we react with our partner. That's why someone who's only been in a relationship for a year may have more trust for their partner than someone who's been in a relationship for 30 years. Isn't that something? It all comes down to how safe each person feels in a relationship at any given point. If you don't feel safe, then you won't be transparent. If you feel safe, transparency in a marriage or in a relationship would be easier. So it sounds to me that whole safety and the whole trust thing is what adds to the transparency. That's what I feel. That's just me talking. I feel like
Right.
Okay.
Are
Okay.
you
Well,
on
there's a
come get me a
That makes
hug?
up. I mean, that makes up like those attributes. That's what
Mhm.
makes up what transparency is. Um,
Mhm.
how for that to even be a question? It's like, do people even know what transparency is, and are they even ready for that? Do they even know what to ask for? Do they even know what to look for when they are wanting transparency or clarity? That was where I was looking for earlier. Clarity. Do they really
Right.
want clarity, and are they
Right.
willing, and are they even ready to deliver
Right.
the same? You know,
Yeah, I
that's when
think
they get. That's when they catch themselves off guard. Like, whoa, I got more than I expected. So now he or she came to the table with it. So then now I gotta be transparent. But sometimes, a lot of times, that's when a lot of people change the subject. That's when
I
they
think
change the
people
subject.
want transparency
Well,
until it comes down to
yeah.
them or what they have to reveal.
Right, right, right. That.
I think that becomes an issue at that point. But let's move on to another thing here. It's talking about transparency doesn't mean sharing without discretion. Now, I believe that too. It says it's important to make something clear. Rational transparency doesn't mean that you should operate without a filter, okay? That you should just blurt out whatever comes to your mind in the rawest form of honesty. You have to frame what you share and how to frame it. That's what matters. Whatever you say should always be to benefit your partner, to build them up. That also means developing the wisdom to know which thoughts to share and which ones not to bring up. Although you want to be honest as possible, honesty doesn't mean saying everything that passes through your brain.
Well, I mean, if you're
We're
gonna
doing such
tell,
a disastrous. Go ahead.
if you're gonna tell it, then tell it. But also, if you're expecting clarity, then be prepared to get the clarity.
You're
Um,
gonna you will live with the backlash on that if you tell everything that's in your brain all the time. If you have that kind of a partner, you got to know your partner first. So if your partner is the type that likes to regurgitate everything, oh damn right, you better not open your mouth and say everything. You better be very selective on what you say. But if your partner has the maturity level to not throw everything back, and the two of you can learn and grow through something, I would say share and be as transparent as possible in that situation.
Hold your
What would
mule. Right.
you, Veronica, you had any thoughts before I go on to the next thing? Because I'm going to all the points now because we are so late starting the living room. I'm getting into the points for the discussion. Okay, transparency with your partner like no one else. Having brought up the importance of using your filter, it's important to balance out that piece of advice. If you have a healthy relationship with your spouse or your partner, you should be working towards interacting on a deeper level with them than anyone else on earth. That's the most beautiful aspect of your romantic relationships,
mm,
physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually speaking.
right.
Transparency should be carried out at a greater level than it is in any other relationship that you have. Okay, so in other words, being transparent with your partner like you do no one else. You
Right.
can't be say this is my one and only, this is my person here, but you have the same kind of transparency with this one and that one and this one and that one. Okay,
So
what do you
so
think?
uh, so transparency should be across the board. Like, no one
Mhm.
should have to differentiate what you mean by transparency. It should be across the board.
Right. But they're basically saying it should be across the board, but you have to be very careful with how transparent you are with other individuals that are not your particular mate. You got to be careful with that too. So that's the point on that. Let me see if there's anything more I want to say on that. Um, Please, so that people. Okay, we're gonna just move off that one and go to another one. Transparency is a two-way street. Okay, up until this point, we discussed transparency is something that you share with your partner, but that's only half the matter. Transparency also means allowing your significant other to feel safe enough with you to share their deepest hopes, fears, struggles, and triumphs with you. In other words, it's a deep and vital give and take between two lovers. In sex, both partners need to be vulnerable and give themselves, give of themselves, I
Yes.
guess you could say, for it to be the most fulfilling. And that is also true for mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But people in relationships give on the most meaningful level without casting judgment.
Mhm.
Both overlook faults and flaws and focus on the positives. So transparency should be a two-way street, is what that
Indeed,
whole point
indeed,
is.
definitely, definitely.
Right,
And questions
right.
shouldn't certain questions even have to be asked. It's like if you're hearing one thing from others, but you're getting the truth, and like they're like, and you can put the truths together. And if they're
Hmm.
leaving certain things out, that's what they choose to hear. That's what they choose to hear. Or there are those that choose not to hear. They don't want to believe because they need their lie to survive. People should
Right.
be able to tell
But
the difference.
But before I bring that last point
Hmm.
forward, let me just go back and kind of recap on what you all think about, just like the subject, just overall, the subject being transparency. Is it necessary to have a successful relationship? Because I feel like some people feel like they don't understand transparency. They feel like let me just say, people who do things outside of their marriage, they feel like, or their relationship, they feel like as long as my partner doesn't find out about it, then it should be okay. I'm not hurting them because they haven't found out about it. I'm not hurting them, but they are not being transparent with their partner. So that to me is a problem there too. The lack of transparency is not going to add to any success in that particular relationship. So, Rick, you have anything? Because I'm getting ready to start rapping.
Nope, I'm good. I'm good. Just like, but that whole transparency thing is like because I've dealt with that, um, and it's people like make up their own mind and what they feel comfortable as far as what transparency is. Because sometimes they don't want the whole truth. They just want to be fixed on what they've heard as opposed to going to the source. Now, when they're used to not going to the source, their mind is already going to be made up because of that behavior. So it's like we really can't expect people to want transparency out of us or anybody else. It's not, it's really sometimes it's to be expected. People claim that they want something when they get it. Just like when people want millions and millions of dollars, they don't have the tenaciousness or they don't have the willpower to sustain those millions or even to make it grow. So
Yeah,
how can they expect that these millions of truths? How can they expect that out of those individuals? And
right.
how can they respect it if they don't even want they
Mhm.
don't want to be transparent themselves? They're just asking for kicks and giggles. Man,
Right.
I'm good.
Hmm. I get that. I get that. I'm going to do this last point here. The last point of the article is couples counseling can build transparency in a relationship. And I think that's a good thing. Although relational transparency is a beautiful thing, it can become lost in the constant pressures of life. Sometimes the best way to improve transparent communication is through marriage counseling for couples therapy. So that's something that goes into other things of how to reach out to them, but that for the most part that is saying that counseling, I think counseling is
Right.
healthy. I think it is a healthy thing that people should consider with relationships, because some people get into relationships and they don't even know how to do a relationship, and then you start talking about other stuff like transparency. That's just something totally different. It goes somewhere completely different. So
All right,
that's what I'm feeling. So,
right.
um, as we any other thoughts before we kind of move out of this and
Um,
into the wrap?
it's interesting. Like that the subject you presented the subject matter as far as being transparent. That is that word itself. or that behavior itself, as human beings, people do struggle with the most because they don't want to hurt people's feelings. But it's the very thing that people need. It's the very thing that people lie to themselves about in terms of wanting it and not being ready for it, or not wanting it, but that's exactly what they need. And a lot of times, even when they get it, even when they get transparency, they don't know how to handle it. You know what I'm saying? And when they get transparency, for those that can handle it, so now it's a matter of, all right, what are you going to do about it? Now, are you going to approach me with this question again after I done told you and shown you, and really you didn't have to ask? But
okay, let me ask a question. What about the transparency of the news that you really don't want, but your partner says you asked for the transparency, and now your partner is going to give that to you, and it's news all the time that you really don't want. It's either something that is they consider bad about you, or something that they are doing that excludes you. So, what do you feel about that? Is transparency always good?
no, it's not. Oh, well,
Yeah.
no. No, it's always good. It's always good because it helps you to realize when you are, what, or where, or what you are missing, or who in the, you are missing within yourself. You're gonna have to take this. Like the easy road is the one less traveled. Looking at yourself. Looking at yourself.
Okay.
How in the hell are you going to be better if you keep getting told or keep getting shown something that's comfortable? How can you grow if you are not put in bullshit and plant that seed? Your
I
plans.
get that, but what I'm speaking of is situations where a person is call themselves saying to you, you want me to be honest. Okay, that dog is barking constantly, like no breaths.
You know what?
Like,
Because I gotta
like no breaths.
I'm gonna do this right here.
Like the dog won't take a no breath. The dog was like,
Right.
down.
I'm not doing a lot of Tanya.
Yes.
I'm not doing a lot of talking because I'm delayed and it's
Okay, I
irritating. I
got you.
don't like that.
Okay, I got you, girl.
Shut up,
I
Rick.
got
Don't
you.
say nothing.
Like nephew over there. Like nephew over there. He wants to chime in and say something. I think the dogs across the alleyway wants to say something too. I think they was like giving me a shout out. Yeah, Rick. Yeah, Rick. Rick. You heard. Yeah, because I'm always transparent all the time.
Yeah, but I was speaking like, for instance, there's some people who feel like,
break that word transparency down to me. Break it down so I can have more understanding. I mean,
okay, transparency is being clear, like you being able to see through any situation. They're going to tell you everything they're going to show you everything that's inside. They're going to be completely transparent with you. That's not always a good thing. Some people think that they really want it, but I don't want transparency on everything. I don't want to know everything that you about you. Or
I mean,
I don't know.
I'll say this.
I had to take that back because there's a young man that's in in my inbox now that I need to know a lot about him before I even have any kind of conversation or any kind of relationship with him before I even get into a relationship. I need to know. I want to know because of the bad experiences that I had before. So I want to know,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but there's a certain
what am
point,
I
like,
getting into before I get there? Yeah.
yeah, it's like when you, let's say, for instance, you learn a lot about him, he tells you a lot of things about him, and then you decide to get into a relationship. How will you feel when the relationship progresses and it's a requirement between the two of you to tell absolutely everything? How would you feel about that?
To tell absolutely
I want to
everything.
know.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I mean, what you
I
thinking
want
about
to
from
know.
his perspective? I'm talking about like your daily thing. Let's say, Veronica, I know you have a lot of stories and experiences and things, and let's say you have this mate that you get with this new guy. You all both talk about a lot of stuff about your past, but they want to know on a daily basis, a weekly basis, everything. They want you to be transparent about everything. How would you feel about that? Who tried to talk to you? Who's talking to you? Who's came out of the house? Who called? Who this? Who that?
That's
Who that?
crazy.
What? That's transparency.
That's
How much?
crazy because we were talking about that earlier.
Really?
We was talking about it earlier. We did that. We did that. We did that earlier. Yes.
Okay.
Majority of the day we was talking about it. You know,
Okay.
we talked about all the way back to middle school when we was in middle school. You know what went on in middle school. Well, you know, relationships and who did you date since middle. You know, since we dated in middle school. You know, and we just said and talked about the whole thing. We talked about our past, each other's past,
Hmm.
and what we want to go, how we want to go in the future. How we want to go
Okay.
forward. You know,
Hmm.
so I
Okay.
mean,
But the thing is, I mean, the whole thing of the past and revealing a lot of things from the past, yeah, that's cool. But just in a daily basis, would
It's
you
not
want
the
to
same.
be right? It's
It's
definitely
not
not.
the same. It's not going to be the same. Being
Hmm.
transparent, like back in the day when we can barely even spell the word, much less have an understanding what transparency mean or is.
And then
Uh,
having to do every day going forward, how much transparency would you want every day going forward? Someone who is insecure and wants you to reveal everything about your whole day.
mm. Oh, even about your whole day, like certain things. If you are with someone
Hmm.
intimately, for you to say everything and share everything that goes on is
Uh-huh.
boring. That's boring as hell. That's boring as hell.
but
Like
Right.
I guess
there's
that's
no
what it
imagination.
is to me.
There's no imagination. There's no you know, for you to know everything, there's no room for excitement. You know,
Right.
there's no room for questions. There's no room for, hey, how's your day? Oh, for real? So what is something? Oh, da, 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 da. Oh, what are you gonna do now? Oh, I know I haven't figured it out yet. Wait, you don't know? Well, so if you do know, what are you gonna do? I don't know yet. Let the element. That's the thing. That's the thing with everything, with every spectrum. I feel like the element of surprise. That's what's missing. That's why
Right.
people are less excited
You
because
know
of the
what it
lack
makes me
of
think of?
element of surprise.
I guess
You know what it makes me think of is the show Blackish. You know, you have the twins
Mm.
on Blackish, right? Jack and Diane. And remember there's the
mm,
episode where they getting older. They were getting older and they felt like Diane felt like they needed to separate, you know. And because Jack would always have his stories, and he goes, and then I got a
Uh,
sandwich, and then
and
I ate it, and then so that's what I think about when I
oh,
think
hold on.
about that type of
I got I,
transparency.
I got one for you. I got one for you. Even like that sitcom on Martin when Gina wasn't
Uh-huh.
working and Martin came home and Gina was like, "Hey, Martin, what you do today?" No, no, no. Start from the beginning. You got up, you ate some breakfast, you rubbed the booger out your eye, you scratch it. You're like, wait. Come, like what?
Yes,
What are you? What are
too
you?
much
What are you? What are you?
transparency.
Like, what are you,
Yeah,
my wife? What are you, my wife or my warden or my probation officer?
right.
Chill.
And so you
Like,
have to determine what type of transparency because some people could want it to be that way, and then
oh
they might
God,
want
like,
that.
yo, like, can you? It's like this. I mean, it works for some people, and for some it
Mhm.
doesn't. Like when
Right.
you're going out on a date, sometimes for me it's like I like spontaneous. I like
Uh huh.
spontaneity. You know, I like to do things spontaneously a lot of times.
what,
Like
what,
whatever comes our
hey,
way, and we
Yeah.
driving, whatever comes our way, hell, let's get out the damn car and like see what that's about. We were driving down shops, like, I've never seen that before. Hey, I'm a U-turn. Let's see what this shop about. Like, oh snap! Like, what? What?
Hey,
This is what's
I'm
up.
talking about.
And that's what happened
Right.
to me recently. That's what happened to me recently. You can't judge a book by its cover. We went to this one shop, like we driving now. I had an aim to go to this one place, but I'm expecting, with transparency, I'm expecting to see like this advertised, this professional looking building, because I'm into aquascaping now.
Right.
Aquascaping. Yes, get involved. But I went to this building in this rural neighborhood. It was like going into a closet, and it looks like a damn mansion. I'm like, what? And what Tommy Strong from Martin, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I went and I was like, oh my damn. PetSmart, Petco ain't got nothing on this place. Nothing. If you love aquamarine plants and animals, heard this place in Roy City, Texas, A to Z Aquatics. What? And my wife, she got the car. She's like, baby, I just learned something. Like after I was done shopping, because we was in there for like a good 45 minutes.
Right.
You know, Petco, PetSmart, I'm in there for like 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes. That place took up a lot of my life. And I have no regrets. And we walked out that place, Tanya, Veronica, my wife goes, baby, I learned something today. I said, what's that? You never judge a book by its damn cover. Never. My God. Just like transparency, you're going to find out some things. You never judge a book by its cover, because you're going to find out some things that's like wondrous about someone or about something. Talking about transparency, it can be anything or anyone. It can't, and a lot of times you cannot be prepared for that, because you're going to get more than what you desire. You're going to get more than what you need. You're going to get more than what you need. You're going to find like a lot of things that you needed from.
And Shannon just said, if a person can't handle the raw you, what's the point?
You know,
I agree. If they can't handle the raw me, I just don't want to hear. And then I don't want to hear it.
Even this is go on the books. Even talking to, when I went to this one place. Well, it was for my 31st birthday. I went to this the strip club here in Dallas. Okay? You can figure out the acronyms yourself. DGs, right?
Okay.
Went to the spot. Of course, I figure I already know. These women don't give a damn about no dude. They don't give a damn. Especially the ones that frequent the spot. Oh, hey, honey. Oh, it's good to see. Oh, you back? Oh, it's good to see you. Oh, it's good to see you. But in terms of transparency, they will, especially if you're like, they're not used to seeing your face. Used in there for business needs. Like I had one for business needs. For the owner wanted me to do a portrait, which I executed, and I gave him evidence. But like the employees, the ladies, they saw that they had to ask questions, but they saw my portfolio. Oh, can you? Oh, wait, you're an artist? Like, no, yeah. Oh, I've never seen your face here. I've never seen your face here before. Yeah, because he's an artist. This is not his thing. Like, y'all, well, here it is. So, Rick, do you mind? Like, no, I'm good. I'm cool. So it's like, no, I don't look like everybody else. No, I'm not that transparent, but I'm going to give you a piece of my transparency, but I'm not going to tell you everything.
Exactly.
I don't know you, but but it's like, then they became transparent in terms of, yeah, these motherfuckers coming here and like, you know, they go like, so I'm like hearing like a lot of stuff that these cats or these frequent customers, I'm hearing a lot of things from these sisters, and sharing a lot of information. Like, no, we don't respect these mother. We don't. Like, we just want, and y'all get on your way. We're gonna make you feel like king because you not feel like king because when you're at home with us, I'm like, I'm hearing a lot of information. So that further repelled me. Y'all are being very transparent. And I wasn't ready for that. I was like, yo, F that song, I'm in love with a stripper. And based on their words, that's exactly that's why they just made it. That's why they're like,
Excuse me, that is I'm in love with a scripper. Okay, scripper. That's Georgia.
I stand very, very, very disinfected. I mean, corrected. You know what I'm saying? Very, yeah.
Well, so Shannon says transparency is being open to your partner, all of them. All of them.
Shannon, we need to talk.
Shannon, what you got going on?
Loose cannon Shannon.
So, with that being said,
but no, on the cool, she's right to a certain extent. You should be transparent with certain individuals. You can give, and I might sound very back talking or contradicting, but at the same time, certain individuals, you can give them information, true information, but it doesn't mean you have to give it all, because once they figure out who you are fully and they don't deserve who you are, they barely even give who they are in a time of day, but they want you to give what they are not even ready for, like they deserve it.
Right.
That's unfair to you. I
just feel, I'm going to flip it to the other side and just say that I do feel like transparency is a necessary part of a successful relationship, as long as it does not go overboard to where you are wanting and requiring of your partner to share every aspect of every day. Because when you have to track a person, you have to put a low jack on a person for any reason, then maybe that's just not your mate. Maybe that's just not who you need to be with. If you have to place a low jack, then that ain't your person.
It's like
I want to know. I want to know everything.
But but I'm saying is like when it comes to that everything, if you cannot trust me to go to the Kroger and just even just have a friendly conversation with someone, and not think that it's going to result in me starting up something with that individual, if you can trust me to not be in your eyesight, then and even if I do tell you that you will understand, hey, I just saw somebody and I was just having a nice conversation in a Kroger without you getting in your feelings about that. So even if I tell you, I need a certain maturity there. And even if I don't tell you and you find out and you see me talking to someone in the Kroger, that you still can be mature about it. So that's what I'm looking for, is a mature mind, whether on whatever level we agree to have transparency. But I don't want to hear absolutely everything if you know that your ass is not doing right by me in the first place, and you bring your transparency to me as a means of beating me in the head with it, because you said that I said I wanted to hear everything from you, and you telling me all your dirt that you're doing out there. I don't want the transparency then.
Right. Being transparent is not equivalent. It shouldn't be equivalent to a leg monitor. Like, what the hell?
Right. And that's what I'm gonna need for you to get on. That's what I'm gonna need for you to go on.
Wait, get gone. Right. What's that song? You did an interview with him. Get gone. Move away. Get away. Was it Rough Ends? I believe it's Rough Ends.
Okay.
Get gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, because we're going overtime. I'm sorry.
Right. We're going to start the wrap. Well, Shannon says there's a difference between transparency and an invitation for abuse. Yeah, there definitely is, but some people don't know the difference that comes with maturity. Yeah. That comes with maturity.
I have to let that resonate. Yeah.
Yes, got to have that maturity level.
It can.
But you got to have a maturity level in order to know the difference between the two. So, yes.
Shannon, I hate you.
Right. All right, so let's go to the wrap. That was transparency for tonight. That was the topic for tonight, and we get ready to get it out of here. But before we go, you know how we do. What y'all got coming up this week? Rick,
man, I got work. I got canvases, and I got work, and I have chill mode. I'm straight up chilling.
Chill mode.
Getting my head retwisted and relaxing, and hopefully smoking some ribs. Hopefully,
I know that's right.
Some food on the grill, just relaxing and
getting.
Huh?
How much you charge to ship just one rib? Just one rib.
My ribs cost $1. What movie? What movie? What movie? What movie? What movie? Why are you laughing? What movie?
I don't know.
What movie?
What movie is that? What movie
Both
is
of
that?
y'all. What movie is it?
You know what it is? Huh?
Who is that?
What movie is
I
it?
forgot the name of the movie, but I was looking to say.
I'm going
That's
to
where I
get
got
you
it from. Just one
Oh, I'm
rib.
going to
get you sucker.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, the cup. Just pour it in my hand for a
Just
dime.
one rib. Just one rib.
What rib?
I just want one rib. Man,
I know that's right.
I do.
So,
But anyway,
I'm like,
Tanya,
Veronica,
take it away.
All
Take
right,
it
Veronica,
away.
what you got going on this week? What you got happening this week, Veronica? I'm about to dance for you.
I got a little bit of something going on this week. I'm in the middle of remodeling my house,
Right on.
and I should have everything done by at least the first of the month, the 1st of November. Everything should be falling into place.
Cool.
So I'm almost there.
Right on. Right on.
All right, go rock. Well, I tell you, I'm moving back into groove this week. I got Soul Spotlight coming up, as I mentioned earlier in the show. Chef Cat is coming up this week. Yeah, Chef Cat will be on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and she'll be able to talk to us about her bone cleaner barbecue sauce. We're gonna find out all about
it. Ready.
Yes. And then on Thursday, I got my guy, Dr. Boogie.
You need to give me some of that.
Right on. Yeah.
Right. We got the celebrity stylist, Dr. Boogie. You know what? Let's take a look. Here's a quick sneak peek.
Yes.
So Dr. Boogie, he's a celebrity stylist, and he's done a lot of work out there. But go on, check him out. Hey, Dr. Boogie's gonna be in the house, and so I can't wait for that. I interviewed Dr. Boogie years ago. I was on the BET red carpet, and I'm gonna talk to him in the interview, and I'm gonna show him the pictures, because while we were on the red carpet, and sometimes out there it gets like really hot and real heated, and my makeup was starting to run, and I got the pictures of where he was swabbing me during my interview with him. And so I was like,
Lord.
He's such a cool cat. So I can't wait to bring him in and talk to him about everything he's doing now. As you can see, he does a lot of the celebs, does their makeup and everything. And then he has to show called My Main Problem, All Black TV, and on WeTV. So I can't wait to break it down with him and find out, because I used to watch him on reality shows, and I can't wait to break it down with him and find out what's the tea on what's going on with him. So I can't wait, Dr. Boogie. And as always, here's my social media. Y'all hit me up. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on these social media. Here we go.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Art Imitates Live with Tanya Dixon. So be sure to like and subscribe. And also check us out on all of our other social media.
right. Well, y'all, it's time to get out. It's time to get out of chill. We lost Margo a little while ago because her phone system started really acting up, but we still pulled through. We did it. We did the damn thing. Sometimes it doesn't take a whole lot of people to get a conversation as long as you have a conversation. That's all I'm saying. So transparency was tonight. The tea was long. The tea was long and strong tonight. So, but I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all here on the panel for
Thank
joining.
y'all.
Yes. A lot coming up this week. And don't forget, next week we got another AIL coming up, and I got some more people this month. I got Michael Collier coming up at the end of this month on the Soul Spotlight. So a lot going on. Y'all Borough People's coming up. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so it's getting ready to be hot in the city. It's getting ready to be hot in the city now. So there's a lot going to be going on. Stay tuned. That's all I'm saying. That's
what?
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
All right.
So we're going to talk about it. Yeah, we're going to pop off for the after show and talk about that for a minute. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I thank y'all for tuning in and, checking us out here on the AIL, and as I always say in parting, hey, good things come to those who believe, better things come to those who are patient, but the best things come to those who never give up. I'm Tanya Dixon. This is my AIL team for tonight. You know how we do. And you all have a beautiful week. And we'll see you next time on Art Imitates Live.
All right, now. Good night.